Hey, sister friends, this is Jamie, and we're so glad that you're here listening with us. This is season one, episode two, and today we're going to talk about confidence and cultivating who we are now as adult women in this season of life that we're in. I know I'm excited to talk about some stuff that I'm working on this year, and that's I've made it a goal. And Julie, you are excited to talk about yours as well.
Yes, and also you had a few people, which we love, by the way, guys. We have not been super active on our socials and everything, but we're new at this and we're just trying to figure it out as Jamie's busy raising kiddos and I'm busy moving. But Jamie, you said a few people reached out to you about a post. It was on Instagram, I think, or Facebook,
Yeah,
maybe both.
it was Instagram. So normally I'm not a big selfie person just because, everyone has, um, I guess I kind of have some body image issues, having four babies. But I recently posted a photo on Instagram because after church one day, or actually this past Sunday, he talked a lot about forgiving yourself and knowing that you're enough. And it just really struck a chord with me. Like, I don't need to carry anything from the past. And one thing that when I took that picture, I was like, you know what? Like, this is my year to realize that I'm done having babies. I took
Mhm.
all my 20s, beginning of my 30s to have babies, and I do everything for everyone else. And it's okay to love myself and put myself first sometimes.
Mhm.
So I put that in a picture of me, and it was on a story, so it was just really quick that someone could see. And I had a few ladies reach out and message me and say, "Oh my gosh, me and my girlfriends were just talking about that. How do you step out of being a wife and a mom when that's essentially all you are at the time
Mhm.
of raising a young family?" So it was really neat. I was able to kind of pour into them, and they were able to kind of pour into me. So that's something big I really want to touch base on today, because I hope those people want to hear it.
Mhm. Yeah, I think it's interesting how there are so many women out there, especially that you fall into these little roles because
Hmm.
it's life, society. I mean, life demands a lot. And so you fall into these roles, which are great, but also they consume you and then end up consuming like who you think you are,
Exactly.
and then you put that in your own mind even though it's not true, and then you self-identify. And I'm not a mom, guys. I don't have any kids. Been
But
married
you
since
are a wife. But you are a wife.
Yes, I am
So.
a wife, but what's interesting is that there are a lot of moms. I see this more with moms and not just wives, but moms.
Mhm.
Moms will say, as soon as you say hi, they are like, "Oh, are you a mom? Do you have kids?" And it's like you guys automatically self-identify as a mom because that
Mhm.
consumes your life, your season. You're always going to be a
Yeah.
mom regardless, but especially when you have little ones, I feel like you
Mhm.
guys are like, "I'm a mom." And then
Yeah.
one of your friends, actually, Jamie, that you go to church with, she actually said that she needed to call somebody. Um, she was at a theme park and she needed to call somebody, um, or to call her husband because something was wrong with her phone. I have no idea. Anyway, and she ended up saying, "Okay, I'm going to pick out a mom so I could
Yeah.
call," because she just felt that connection with
Yeah.
mom. So that people self-identifying as,
Yeah.
as that because it's consuming their life.
Yeah. And it's not, I don't even know, like, I do agree with like the consuming, but I feel like
In a
at
good
that
way,
point,
not a weird way, not like
no, no,
bad.
yeah, no, no, I get it. But
Mhm.
I always try to think of it like you are what you invest in. And
Yeah.
as a mom, you're investing your whole being um into being the best mom that you can be.
Mhm.
And any type of mom is gonna a present um mom that loves her kids is a great mom. It doesn't matter. It's just
Mhm.
a different level of what kind of mom that you are naturally built to be or want to be. And I always actually have really um, thought out just this past few months that I feel like, and I can't speak for all moms, but I was able to talk today to another mom, and I told her, I said, you know what I've realized is closing this chapter of my life, not having any more children, which I could have 5 more, but um, my husband's definitely ready to be done with that, and I get it. He understands. He wants that for me, but I have used my children as a security blanket just as much as they've used me as their security blanket. And I have to come to realize, like, Jamie, it's okay that you're not going to be the Jamie before kids and before
Mhm.
your husband. You're built different, and this is a badass mom. Like,
Mhm.
you got this. Like, and you can do for you, and you don't need to worry about what other people are going to say if you do something that doesn't look ordinary. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So
Yeah, and I think though with that, it's like it's such a sweet thing, but also I think you're realizing now, like you're not in the, I mean, you have a 2-year-old, so but you already know like this is the last baby and all of that. So you're kind
yeah.
of ahead of the game a little bit compared to some people. Um, but I think you're starting to realize now, like, wow, I was in the thick of raising so many little ones at the same time, which
Hmm.
you still are, but the older boys are a little bit older than Foster.
Yeah, nine and a
And
half, 7.5, and then 2.
too. And so that gives you a little bit of difference perspective. But what I notice is that now you're saying like, hey, I'm more than just a mom.
Hmm.
Like my foundation has really been built on being a mom the past few years, 9 years or whatever.
Yeah.
But then now you're starting to see, especially as you get older, I notice this a lot in you and some of the other friends that we have that have kids is um, they're like, wow, who am I? I'm going to start doing things for myself. And that's kind of what you were going off of for this year for
Yeah.
you.
Well, and it's a taboo that I definitely um hold my standards as being a mom really high. I mean,
Hmm.
we had a great mom growing up. And my mother-in-law really impacted me. She's no longer with us, but she impacted me raising boys. Like, she had 2 boys, and she was always so present, so there, always, if they needed anything, she'd be right there. And
Hmm.
she really impacted the way that I parent. And I really miss her so much. But yeah, so I think I'm realizing now that I don't need to judge myself so harshly when it comes to, like, I have never asked for a break. I have never said I need a break or I want a break. I'm just, me, Julie. I'm not like that.
Hmm.
Like, I barely let the kids go anywhere. And when I say go anywhere, I just mean like spend the night at places and things to that nature. I always want to have those moments for me. Like, I'm
Hmm.
very selfish with my children,
Yeah.
and I'm okay with that. And I think a lot of that, has to do with, um, I used to be a preschool pre-K teacher, and I would have kids that, would be there for 12 or 13 hours a day, while their parents worked. And, I just saw that they really miss their parents. And I just always said, if I can be as active as I can, I will. But
Hmm.
realizing now that I can, start branching out, and it doesn't mean that I'm neglecting them. It doesn't mean that
Hmm.
they're going to think I abandoned them. Like, I can't,
Yeah.
and Julie, like, you've told me millions of times, Jamie, you need to do something for yourself. And I
Hmm.
hate when people say, you need to get a break and do something for yourself. I do something for myself all the time, but now I need to do something for, doesn't mean, I don't like when, I
It's
don't
like your
want to
deeper
go,
your deeper self. It's not just
yes,
like, let me
yes,
go get my nails done or let me go get a coffee because I need a break from my
yeah,
kids.
like, and I'm not really about that. Like, that's just, it's
Yeah.
not that I need to break from them. It's like, I need to do what I want to do. So, for example, a lot of people have noticed that I have recently got a lot of tattoos.
Hmm.
Um, Very mixed opinions about that with family, friends, because I do have a full sleeve, I have a chest piece now,
Hmm.
and quite a few other tattoos and more to come. But you know what? I have always been that type. Like, I love body art.
Hmm.
I love it. I would have been tattooed a long time ago, but I'm like, oh no, I don't want to do that because that money could go towards my children, or that money can go, you know, towards going on a vacation, or I don't need to spend time away from them to go get a tattoo because they take hours. Now I'm like, you know what? It's my time. It's okay
Mhm.
if I want to go do that. And if someone's gonna judge me on having, tattoos and I'm a mom, you know what? I've been there. I've, raising my babies. I'm doing a great job and they're happy and
Mhm.
healthy and safe. And
Yeah.
that's okay now.
Yeah.
So I'm really starting this year. I've decided to treat myself for some things like that.
Well,
Another thing to, well, okay, yeah, sorry.
I just wanted to say I think a lot of people kind of hear it as more of you're giving yourself
Hmm.
permission to think about you, not first, but think about you as if I'm not 100%, then no one's getting a good thing
Hmm.
from me. So I'm just really proud of you for that because I think I've really noticed that about you is you're giving yourself permission not to be selfish because moms are never selfish, or they shouldn't be selfish, but um yeah, I just see that a lot in you right now is you're giving yourself permission. And I think once you become a mom and you've been a mom for a while or a parent or whatever,
Hmm.
you start to realize like, hey, I can't,
Well, and
this
it's like
isn't going to be forever.
I've looked in for permission through other people. Like,
Hmm.
what does it look like? It looks nice to have you know, um, a wife that might look like she's gonna bake you a pie every day and do this, but like I'm getting out of my own way and say, listen, you don't have to be a Stepford wife to be perfect.
Yeah.
Um, and because me, like I would wear the pearls and would do
Yeah.
all that if I could. And I have, but it's just like now it's time. The best way to explain this to people and all you moms out there are guardians, grandparents, aunts, the best way to describe how a mother feels is I always say I have a glass full of water and I have all these other glasses in front of me and I'm pouring into my husband's glass. I'm pouring into all three of my boys' glass. I'm pouring into you know, my friends. I'm pouring into my sisters, my other extended family. I'm pouring into everyone else because mm, I long for people to pour into me.
Hmm.
But then I start pouring out of an empty cup and I'm just giving air and I just keep getting tilted. So now I need to realize it's okay, Jamie, fill your cup up so you
Hmm.
can keep contributing. And
Hmm.
it's a beautiful thing, kind of like once you get past, really, my biggest person is myself. So I
Hmm.
need to get past myself and realize it's all right. Like, take a
Yeah.
beat, and your kids aren't going to think that you abandoned them if you leave for an hour, and your
Yeah.
husband can handle it. And it's
Yeah.
okay.
I think that's also too, and at least for me, I mean, I think it's in every other area of people's lives too. I mean, you can get so into whatever it is, your job, your marriage, your sport that you love, maybe you're a camping family or whatever. So I think you can get into these. Um, I think it's a blanket statement for everything, don't you think?
Exactly.
I mean,
Yeah. Oh,
you,
yeah.
you can
Completely
really
agree.
become, you know, a person doing one thing for the next year and you're just focused on that the whole time. And then
Well, and
it's
it
like,
goes
oh,
back.
whoa.
Yeah, it goes back to saying you are what you invest in. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
so
exactly.
investing in myself this year, I had said, I think I told you that even on the phone one day. I'm like, if there's something at church in the evening, like a women's conference, or
Mhm.
at our church we have a thing called the table, and it's women get together, and I'm always like, oh, it's kind of late. I want to make sure
Mhm.
my husband has supper and he's not stressed out with the kids for a couple hours on a Thursday night when he gets home from work. Like I'm gonna skip. And then now I'm like, this is gonna put you in a bind maybe, but this is gonna fill me up. So I
Mhm.
love you. I got everything prepared. Bye. Like,
Mhm.
and I'm giving myself that. And my husband Andrew even said, like, I'm so proud. I can really tell a difference that you're just kind of like
Mhm.
standing up for yourself now and saying like, I don't want to do that, or I want to do that. And I'm like, you know what?
Mhm.
I am. And I am. I can say that I'm proud of where I come in
Mhm.
the past few months of just,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel weird saying that, but it's
Yeah,
true.
but you I think people need to hear that though, right? I mean, for
Yeah.
for for me, I think like the older we get, we're 31, and I say that a lot, guys. Like, I cannot believe we're 31 years old. I don't even know what happened. Um, it just like went so quick. But I am now into this like I'm kind of in this nestled, cozy season of my life where it's like life is really sweet right now for me, and I'm
Mhm.
so grateful for that because that's all the Lord. That's not me. That's not my husband. That's not our family. It's just the Lord. And I'm in this little cozy season, and it's like no, I feel like nothing can stop me. Like nothing can, nothing's gonna steal my joy. And I think it's
Yeah.
because I have because I have a little bit more time on my hands than most people, but um I feel like the past 3 years, really, I have invested in making myself feel very confident in who I
Yes.
am, how I speak when I do work a 9 to 5 job. I I'm okay with disagreeing with people. I'm okay with, saying my opinion because I am trying to become more of a strong, godly woman. And
Yes.
I think a lot of times we just forget that, hey, we're walking a really hard walk, especially if you're a Christian. But regardless, just being in this world, society can just like chew you up and spit you out, especially for
Right.
women. And when we allow ourselves to say, hey, I'm worth more than this, like I need to actually actively believe myself, believe I'm beautiful, believe I'm confident, believe that I can do something and I'm going to have that voice. And I think that happens when you get older, maybe. I don't know. Do you
Well,
think that?
I mean, I think like I envy you in such a way though, because we are so different because you have went and experienced a lot of things that I will never get to experience. And
Hmm.
so well rounded, with missionary work that you've done, and just experiences that you've had even here in the States. But and I've experienced way on the other end of
Hmm.
stuff that you haven't yet experienced.
Right.
And it's so crazy how society, I feel like, would always perceive that the way I did it was more quote unquote
Mm.
correct. But look how more, and I'm going to say this lightly because I don't want people to think I feel like this right now, because I have felt like this before, but I'm not currently. But someone like me that quote unquote done it correctly, um, see how more broken I am as a, and I maybe that broken isn't a word, but see how more or less confident I am as where my identity stands, as to where you are super confident in that. And I know a lot of that does, you know, most of that comes from the Lord. But you have invested in yourself and you are a
Hmm.
strong-willed person. And that's something that I really lack in, and I'm trying to get better at. But so Julie,
Hmm.
and I've told you before, I envy so much of the confidence that you have and the um, powerfulness that just
Hmm.
comes from your energy and who you are. And I
Hmm.
think with you and Alex has really helped you a bunch
Hmm.
too. I feel like learn how, like, to show you like you are so
Hmm.
valuable. Your opinion matters,
Yeah.
and so yeah, I think that's such an amazing thing to think, like, society be like, oh, she stayed at home and raised her babies and
Hmm.
did this, but like look how quote unquote broken that has made me, and then look how
Hmm.
strong and well-rounded and experienced you are. So
Hmm.
it's a beautiful thing, and it's like I want
Yeah.
to get there.
Well, and I appreciate you saying that. I think that's a wow thing. I think that it says a lot, speaks a lot to you, Jamie, that um there's a maturity there for you saying not that anything that you've walked through has made you completely a broken person. It's made you who you are. That's what the
Yeah.
Lord allowed to walk through your life. But I think with you, like you said, as soon as you got out of high school, it was, marriage and wife and responsibilities and babies and all of this. And so, yeah, where as for me, I was very hungry for the Lord. That's what my focus was. Not saying
Yeah.
yours wasn't, but and I know you came to be serious with faith a little bit older too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting because there are some things that I don't have um really, and I don't necessarily care to have, I guess, but yeah, I think there's a difference in there. Not saying that it's right or wrong, but the
Yeah.
paths in which you take from the time you leave high school or leave your house and go into the world, that's where that foundation is laid, and that's where your confidence is going to start.
Yeah. Yeah. I said earlier that someone had reached out to me,
Hmm.
on Instagram after I posted that. And it was a beautiful thing because, she was saying like, hey, me and my girlfriend were just talking about um your, you know, not my post, but had previously been talking about, man, how do you identify after being a wife and a mom?
Hmm.
And, because that's, your investment.
Hmm.
And, when you're not with the kids or your husband, you don't know what to do. And it's such a weird feeling, but it's almost like your hands are like, give me something. And it's weird because the other day I went to the grocery store. I've only went to the grocery store, I think, two times.
Yeah, she
And then
literally
now, yeah,
called
like
me just to
times,
be excited.
2 times in the last 9.5 years by myself. And I did, I feel like I did worse. Like I grade my trips like, oh, you did good without a list. I did worse not in the chaos. I
Oh,
thrive,
yeah,
thrive in multitasking chaos. Like, don't touch the
yeah.
shelves, don't hit your brother, don't like I thrive in that. But I told her, I said, it's not about finding who you once were or that
Mhm.
person again. It's about um how did I word it?
Discovering, just like
Yeah,
discovering you.
discovering
Hmm.
who you are now in this
Hmm.
beautiful season that you've cared for other people, that you've been the rock, for your family. And that's a beautiful thing. And I think we like mourn who we were, and that's why we're so confused about our identity.
Mm.
And like you were saying earlier, your hunger has always been for Christ. And we have to realize too that I am enough for the Lord. That's one big
Hmm.
thing in my marriage. I always put Andrew on a pedestal, and I stopped doing that. And I'm like, I know that the God loves me and I am his favorite. Just
Yeah,
not his favorite out of everyone, but you know what I mean.
yeah,
His favorite. I am enough. So I don't need
hmm,
to worry about someone else's complete opinion of me if I know I'm
hmm,
doing my best. So
yeah,
um yeah, I think it's beautiful once you realize like you get out of your own way and you say,
hmm,
listen, I'm gonna find out who I am now as this amazing woman.
hmm,
And it's gonna look different than what it did when I was
yeah.
17 or when I was in the thick of raising babies and you know,
Well, I actually
those
had a,
you
I actually had
know,
a pastor once tell me that I wasn't the same person that I was a year ago, and I've kind of sat on that for many years actually.
mhm,
And I remember thinking as I got older, and that's always stuck with me, obviously. And I thought, I'm so happy I'm not the same person I was last year. I'm so
oh,
happy I'm not the same, because if I am the same person, I'm doing the same things. One, I'm not growing in my soul, like in our own personal
yeah,
soul,
yeah,
but I'm also not growing towards Christ or the kingdom, building the kingdom of God. And I think about that moment that the pastor said that, and I thought, I hope I'm never like that. I hope I'm never the same every single year. I hope I'm never the same every single day, right? And
yeah,
I think once we get older too, we realize that we are not the same. Like we are different from
mhm,
when we were in high school. We're different from the time that you had your first child. Um,
yeah,
I am different than most people my age with no kids and just me and my husband of 10 years. So it's so awesome how God moves all these little pieces around and then we all kind of have the same feeling, right? Like the
Yeah. But
same like
isn't it like,
experience.
isn't it like an awesome thing though? Maybe like everyone has this epiphany when they're 30 and
Maybe.
they don't care like what people think, but isn't it awesome to like, me and you talk about this all the time. I don't know why I'm pointing like this, but me and you, uh, if you guys aren't seeing this video wise, we are on video.
Yeah.
And I currently drink every coffee
Thing.
beverage with a straw, everything with a straw, no matter if it's clear, because I'm
That's
scared.
why she has white teeth. If you've ever seen Jamie in person, like okay, I told her this one time and I'll never forget
Julie,
you.
it is not true. I
No,
don't know.
just let me tell you. I'll never forget her face. She looked so cute. I think it was like springtime. You were in this like kind of like a coral dress. Do you remember like that coral sleeveless dress? Anyway, she looked gorgeous. And I'm not just saying that because she's my identical twin, but um anyway, her teeth were so white, like they were so vibrant. I remember telling you that, and you're like, "Oh, I drink from a straw." Like you were so proud of yourself. And it's just really weird to see someone drinking cappuccino out of a straw.
But yeah, so I drink from a straw. I'm like, I guess super weird, but you know,
Yeah,
it is what it is what it is. That's our mom's favorite quote. It is what it is. Um,
it is what
I
it
don't
is.
even, but yeah, so I think it's a beautiful thing when you realize, because you and I have talked about this before. Like some days I want to dress super girly, and then
Yeah.
one day I wake up and I'm like, I'm feeling kind of punk rockish today. I don't even know if these are
Yeah.
like cool terms, but most people that are listening to this are probably in their 30s anyways. And then like one day I want to dress like I'm gonna go work a ranch, like
And that could
that's
just be
what
our
I wanted.
personalities too.
Yeah, so maybe we have multiple personalities, but but I think it's neat to know like I can get up one day, and if that's how I'm feeling, that's what I'm going, that's my vibe for the day. And
Hmm.
it's so beautiful just to get out of your way and do what you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
And you might be different, like this season of life you might be like into things, and then the next time you're like, I can't believe I did that, but cool, I added
And
that to the chapter.
well, and I think something too, I've met so a few years ago, I think it was maybe 3 years ago now. It's been a while, I guess. We picked up these backpackers on Klingman's Dome in Tennessee, in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. So we're coming down from Klingman's Dome, and if you've ever been there, it's like super steep, and there's a few lookout points that you can go to. So we're standing there anyway. These people needed a ride back to town, and so they had been hiking the AT for months, and it was so interesting because they get in the car and they're talking and things, and they really knew who they were. Like it was really
Yeah.
cool because someone who has traveled or adventured before, and not just like taking a Florida vacation, but like actually had to like step out. And when you step out, I'm telling you guys, I will go to the grave saying this. When you step out of your comfort zone, which I pray that you continuously do every single day, when you step out of your comfort zone, you learn so much about yourself, whether that's traveling
Mhm.
by yourself for the first time, or
Ugh,
driving somewhere for the first time, or maybe you're taking a class as an adult, whatever it is, something that's so uncomfortable for you, and you step out, whether it's in faith or whatever, and you learn so much about yourself personally. It kind of like makes you sit back and reflect a little bit.
yeah. Well, and it's almost like, especially for me, since, after graduating high school, I went and became a preschool pre-K teacher, but got my certificate for it. So I didn't go to a formal college. It was
College.
online, but which is something I actually don't regret doing. I know a lot of people would strike me for saying that, but you know, where was I just going with that? I don't remember, but
I,
oh yeah, so stepping out and knowing who you
yeah.
are. I
Hmm.
feel like after you stop schooling, whichever, if it's high school or trade school or whatever,
Hmm.
I feel like you just go with the flow of life, and
Yeah.
it's like you're existing. You're not really living, but you're existing.
Hmm.
And it's like once you learn something new, or you go to an interest that you like and you're going to explore about it, it's almost refreshing to realize that you can still learn as an adult. Like,
Yep. Yep.
you know,
Yeah.
I'm going to grow and learn as an adult. That's not just keeping children alive and learning how to cook
Mm-hmm.
a 5-course meal. You know,
Yeah.
it's neat to realize that I can still do that. It's not like, oh, I didn't have time, or time's running out. It's like, if I want to go, you know,
Yeah.
wash my clothes when I go hiking in a river and use a little pocket of soap, I'm going to.
Well, I don't know
I
if
might
you,
have to research it for a little bit and be like, what is the best place?
how do I do this? Um, I Alex, my husband has a ton of coworkers all over the world, and it's so cool. Every year we meet up somewhere in the Caribbean, and um hearing their stories and like what they get to do. Like there's so many people out there, and maybe it's because we're from a small town, Jamie, to be honest, it's probably half that. Um
Sheltered life.
hashtag small town.
No,
Small
you know
town
what though? We
vibes.
should literally not hashtag small town. It should be hashtag sheltered life.
Totally true. There's so many good things and so many like quirky things about that. But the coworkers that Alex has, they're from all over the world, like I said. And when we do meet up, I feel like most of them are saying, you know, hey, I'm learning a new language. Hey, I'm learning kickboxing. I'm doing this. And I don't have a ton of like, it's insane. But of course, they're all night from the United States. But
Julie,
it's just
Julie,
so,
I
what?
I'm just learning at the gas pump to not go over that 1 cent. Like, I'm just like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just hoping that I can click it. That's what I would tell those friends.
Okay. Well,
I need to really get into something.
yeah, like, well, and I think too, from where we are from, people do, they get out of high school, they go, you know, to a trade, or they go to college, then get, you know, do the family thing, and that's pretty much their highlight of their lives, which is fine. But the more and more I see people talk about as an adult, like, oh yeah, I joined a gym, and now I'm also doing these classes, and I'm doing this, and I'm learning this, and I'm like, gosh, I'm falling behind on life right
I'm
now
like, wait,
because
I think I might need to repeat this read.
yeah, like I didn't
I didn't
even
get
know.
that memo. I didn't get that memo. And
Yeah. Well, and then like I went to college, so I still had kind of a strict schedule. And that was a whole nother, let me tell y'all, small town vibes. I didn't know how to even apply for college. It was it was literally the most vulnerable I've ever been in my life walking
I still wouldn't know
into
how to apply for college. We did not have. I will just say, because I know people are listening, but I think the guidance counselor only
there was
asked to
no
see me one
guidance.
time, and I was like, "Oh, we have a guidance counselor." I
Yeah.
had no idea, and like I didn't know that we were supposed to,
Mhm.
you know, write
Yeah.
letters for scholarships,
Scholarships.
because
Yeah.
everyone else knew, but I didn't ever get that.
Memo.
Maybe it was in the announcements and I didn't hear it because I was somewhere else or talking. I
Yeah.
I don't know. It's almost like all that was a blur. Oh my gosh, people are gonna think I'm crazy. Guys, it's
No.
true a little bit.
It is a little bit true, but no, I do think it's because of we grew up in such a small area, guys. Like I can't even express to you how small of an area. Um,
And you don't realize it's that small until you're like,
until you're
oh,
out and you're like, wow, like the place that where I live right now, there's 12 high schools. There's 12 high schools for one town. And we grew up in a high school that had three towns go to one school. So it's just
12 high schools. I wouldn't even,
hmm I know. I know. It's
well, hey, at least you could do all 4 years at different places.
I guess I don't know. It's insane.
Well, so I think to sum most of what we're talking about up is for me personally, I think confidence really comes within. I think if you want to take it from a Christian standpoint of it, I always go back to this because if you think about the life of Christ and what we're called to do is to be more like Christ. And I found this little quote by a worship leader, and she says this, and I really, really like it because I think it goes with Jamie, what you were talking about, giving yourself permission, but also talking about the Lord sustaining us and like giving us that confidence, and how when you actually go after him and continuously be hungry for Christ, then I think your confidence just boosts insanely, because you know that you're more valuable than rubies. So this is what it says. It says, "You're always moving in the unseen. The breath you exhale, sustaining me. Before I call, you know my need. You're always going before me. I'm confident your faithfulness will see me through. My soul can rest. My righteousness is found in you." And I think that's so powerful, because I think once you, at least for me, guys, is once you become a confident woman, confident person, your life, it completely changes. I don't know. I can't see my life from the outside looking in. But I feel like a very strong person, because I know my confidence comes in Christ first, and then my husband second. I tell people this all the time, and this may sound really silly, Jamie, but when I am walking with my husband, I don't want to cry, but when I'm walking with my husband, he is 6'3", guys, and I'm 5'3", so we're totally different in height. But when my shoulder, I feel like it just fits like a little puzzle right up under him. And when I'm walking, guys, this is the best way I can describe my confidence. When I'm walking with my spouse, I fit perfectly right underneath his arm, and I could literally close my eyes, and I know that I am safe, I'm protected, I'm loved, I'm heard. I could walk in the middle of the street, and if Alex told me to close my eyes and walk towards him, I would. And I think he hasn't always been, because he's a man of God, and he's always learning how to pursue me in every season of life. But I feel the most close to Christ when I'm in that moment with my husband, when I'm physically walking next to my husband. He is not the Lord whatsoever, but he is called to love me like Christ loved the church, but also to lead me closer to the Lord. And when I walk with him like that, I think of my confidence in God, and I think, wow, he is there with me. He's walking with me. He's sustaining me. He is where I'm being filled up. I'm being heard, because I'm vertically telling him, Father, this is what I need. But also praising him too, in all the different seasons of life. And so I don't know if that's for you guys, if Jamie, if you feel like that at all either, but I do feel like when you start, and it's not easy, guys, it is not easy trying to find your confidence in Christ, or just your own soul, to be happy with your own person. It's not, but I do take pride in the fact that I have always tried to put that first, because I have to live in my head. And Jamie, we talk about that a lot. Like I'm the one that goes to bed with my thoughts. I'm the one that wakes up and has to be excited, even if I don't feel good. And especially you as a parent and as a wife too, Jamie, there's a lot of times where you're exhausted, but you keep going, because you know that you are fighting for your family every single time you make a kid a lunch or take somebody to the doctor, whatever that may be. And so I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you on all that. And, lastly, one thing I want to add, because I know our time here is coming to a close, but to be strong in your mind first, because someone will be like, well, how do I gain confidence? Is it just my looks, or is it just my, someone giving me, the love language that I need? But it's almost like you need to fake it to yourself to make it. And some people are not going to understand, but Julie, I know you probably are understanding, but we always say in a moment that we're terrified, or in a moment that we are like we don't know how it's going to go, or a moment we have to get in front of someone and speak, we will fake that we are calm, we are collective, and we are strong, and we got it. Because you know what? We might be complete opposite in our mind, But that experience that we got past the fear of it, we got past the uncomfortableness. And when we got past it, we just added to our, to a little bit to our confidence. We added that. And then when we got that next time that comes, we're like, strong mind, strong body. We got this.
Yeah.
You know, I remember when you, Julie, which will be a whole nother story too, but Julie was with me in the delivery room with our last baby. And in my mind, it was going 1,000 different places. But I mean, you would have never known. Those nurses would have never known. And I mean, I can't fool Julie, but I did pretty dang good.
Yeah.
Like
It was
keeping it
insane.
together,
Yeah.
being strong and just like doing what I needed to do and faking it till I made it, you know. And maybe those aren't the best words because it sounds kind of weird, but do it. Be confident. When you're not confident, either wearing something or, you know, speaking out in front of your family or saying, hey, I like this. Like, this is what I want to listen to. This is what I want to do. Push past it because that's going to add a little bit more confidence to your glass.
Yeah.
And then you become strong because you've taught yourself how to be, you know?
Right. Yeah, I definitely think that. And I think sometimes too, guys, like there have been times where I've been really nervous to say something, especially when it comes right now. I'm really struggling with I used to never be like this, but I also don't work in the public anymore. So maybe this has something to do with it. But it's hard for me to walk up to other adults and like chit chat with them. Meaning, like, I went to this little women's thing, get together gathering, and we were all doing like cards and stuff. And I had to introduce myself to people. And I was just like, okay, hi. Like I just didn't even like I wasn't confident in like saying hi and trying to conversate with people just because I guess I haven't done that for a while. And that was really not difficult. It was just kind of odd. And then finally after like the second person, I was like, man, I'm really looking like I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm actually a super outgoing person, like super outgoing person. But I kind of have to know you as I've gotten older, I've dialed that back a little bit. And I think it's just kind of like the season I'm in.
Well, I think too, like, a lot of yours too is because now that you have been staying at home the last little bit over a year, maybe, right?
A year and a half.
Or a year and a half that you've been staying at home, which is what a lot of moms go through, which why we say, who are we and what's our identity is, you're not out in society to where you even know what to talk about or what to say or how to even conversate because normally you know you see me all the time. I'm like, oh, tell them hi. Like I talk through my kids. It's a security thing. It's a
And my life's
you know,
really
like
different. Like with you being a mom and having kids, literally that was the first thing that everyone asked me why I was at this gathering was, hey, how are you? How old are your kids? You know, and it's just like as soon as that happens, it's kind of like, I am totally different than you. And it's kind of hard. It's just hard. It's different.
it's definitely you have to put yourself in those moments to gain back your confidence of being able to talk. I remember I was in a few pageants growing up and I was like super not confident. But after I did those pageants, I felt on top. I didn't win them. I mean, I placed and
You had most
won, but
personality.
I did. But you know, it was like after I got like uncomfortable and how to do that, like it gave me so much more confidence. And I was like, oh, I can go in and ask someone for a sponsorship. I can go in and, you know, talk to anyone. But it's weird when you like are out of the game for a while and then like you weave yourself back in and you're like, oh, yeah, guys, thank you so much for listening today.
Yes.
I know for me, I'll let Julie close all us out, but it was awesome to hear from some of you women. And it doesn't have to just be women, but some of you guys the other day when I did post something about being more confident and finding my new self, it was really cool. And I love to be able to talk to other women about what's really going on in our heads, what's really going on in our season of life, because people either sugarcoat it or shove it to the side, and I want to reveal
Yeah.
it, and I want to
Mhm.
be there with you, and I will waller in it, and we will talk about it, and we will do all that. So I appreciate it. Please comment, like, subscribe, all that. We have a YouTube channel. We both have Instagram, Facebooks,
Yep.
and you can listen to all platforms, Spotify. So yeah,
Anchor.
we just encourage you guys to comment, message us if you would like, and tell us what you want to hear about, what you,
Mhm.
what's on your heart, because we would
Right.
love to like talk through it,
Yeah. And hear
Um,
about your confidence, and also to hear about your confidence. Like, are you struggling
mhm,
through that? Are you a mom, like Jamie said, that you're kind of in the thick of it and you're just like, man, I really haven't thought about myself lately.
yeah,
The whole purpose of doing this is not to entertain whatsoever, but it's to talk with not only my twin sister, but also talk with other women out there, other people out there who, um, just want people to talk real talk,
yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah, so awesome to know that you're not alone. Um,
yes, yep,
in a world that we're supposed to be all connected, we're all very lonely.
yeah. Yeah, that's true. And I hope and pray that this coming week you can think about one thing that you can strive or take a step towards for
Mhm.
you in your journey of confidence. I don't know what that may look like for you, but try to think about that. Maybe write the word confidence on your mirror when you're getting ready for work every day, or write it on your hand. I used to write on my hand all the time with a pen. Maybe that was years ago, but you just write something down just so you remember it and you can look down and say, confidence, what can I do right now to take a step of faith and
Yeah.
make myself
Or
confident?
even something, I think too, like if you're trying to find your identity, not, as just yourself, but maybe just taking one thing that you love that you don't normally do for yourself, or that,
Mhm,
if someone, for example, doesn't know that you like I like alternative rock music,
mhm,
but I think that's like this, like some of like the screaming stuff. Like I don't like all screaming, but I like a harder rock
mhm,
music, and a lot of people don't know that, because I'm like, oh, like I think there's one band called Only One Night Only or something, and they do a lot of cover songs, but I love to listen to that type of music sometimes, and a lot of people don't know that. But I was never confident to even tell my husband, like, "Oh, I want to listen to that music," and then all of a sudden they start screaming, and he's like, "What did I marry?" So, like, if that's something that makes you feel good, and that you're
yeah.
like, "I'm going to be true to myself. This is what I like now." Great.
Mhm.
So,
And
do that. I encourage you to do
get
that.
to know you, get to know yourself, because I
Yeah.
you're not the same person, Jamie, that you were, 12 years ago. I'm not the same
Yeah.
person I was 5 years ago. And so I think when you know yourself, you start to actually know who you are. It's pretty epic. It's a pretty cool
It's
journey.
almost like you need to date yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dang. Mind blown there.
Hmm.
Date yourself. Spend some time.
Hmm.
We love you guys. We appreciate
Yep.
you guys so much. You are enough. You will find yourself, your new self again. And we will hopefully hear from you, and hopefully you can hear from us again next time.
Yes.